Ladies and gentlemen, here I am live in Justin Van Heerden's hotel room because on June 10th, HBF Stadium, you'll be defending your featherweight championship, Eternal MMA, against Rod Costa, who is going to attempt to become the double champ, holding the Bantamweight title and the featherweight title. You're trying to stand in his way. You're fighting a man that you've fought before, unfortunately got the better of you. Talk us first, like mentally, a guy that has beaten you before, also now coming for your belt. What's that like?
Yeah, so I guess, obviously in the lead up, people are going to be saying things like, oh, he got you last time, he knocked you out, same place. It's almost 2 years to the day, actually. So, but, people were saying that going into the fight with Diego. And, obviously that's like, you can look at that result, look at that fight and go, okay, here's what happened the last time you got it wrong, or you dropped the ball, or you lapsed, and he's dangerous and durable and he can put you away. So it's like, is it factoring into going into this fight? Is it sort of playing a part? No, it's sort of that already happened. That did its job. That's why I went on a 4-fight win streak. That's why I won the belt. That's why I'm the champ. So, I'm excited because I'm not coming into this fight thinking of that other fight or looking at that other fight at all, because I don't think Rod's the same fighter because he's the Bantamweight champ. He's gone on a tear. It's two different fights. So, I think looking at this fight, I'm excited because I'm picturing the best Rod Costa that we've ever seen, and I'm looking forward to putting away the best Rod Costa and keeping my belt.
Now, you actually, to have one up on him, you got the featherweight belt. He went for it. He couldn't get it. Of course, that against Jack Jenkins. You went a different route. You've been an underdog for, let's say, most of your career. Do you get extra satisfaction in proving everyone wrong?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I thrive on that position. So, I touched on this in other interviews. Like, I think I've thrown a spanner, and even with you, I've thrown a spanner in the works for Eternal so many times, and I'm going to do it again, this Saturday night. Like, obviously, Rod's a game, dangerous opponent. He's someone that's hard to sort of get out of there, but I can't wait to hear the sounds of silence at HBF Stadium when I put him away and ultimately do what I keep doing, and that's winning, even though I'm being counted out by everyone.
Do you feel like an underdog in this? Not in your mind, but in the public's mind. Do you think you're an underdog coming into this fight?
I think people are giving me a little bit more credit, but I still think, people think Rod's just going to do what he did in the first fight, or come in and, run through me and sort of put me away. But, that's the best part about this sport. It's these big moments where you're sort of putting everything on the line. And like I sort of said, I'm taking the risk. I'm putting everything on the line. So it's my moment.
Why do you think they keep putting you in the underdog category?
I think because if you look at my record, like, for what it is at face value, it's not the prettiest with a few of the losses on there. But the people that have sort of been following the sport or that follow along kind of know that, the couple of those losses were sort of up in weight at short notice. Like, one was a split decision against a guy that was 85 kilos on fight day. So, and I went in there and just did my thing, didn't get the result. So, took a risk, took a gamble, didn't work out. But like, at featherweight, I've only lost 3 times, and I've already redeemed one of those losses, so we can wipe that one away. And if I beat Rod Costa on Saturday, which I'm planning to do, then that's gone again. So then, at featherweight, like, I've got one loss and that guy doesn't even fight anymore. So, I think after this weekend, it's going to be more and more cemented that I'm the best guy in the region.
Now, a guy that has a championship comes up. I know we don't want to skip ahead. You've got a huge fight on the weekend, but does lightweight interest you?
It's something I'm sort of eventually would at some point look at. That'd be cool to fight. There's some good fights at lightweight. There's some good fighters. So, whether that's regionally or, I don't know, in sort of the brighter, bigger shores overseas, at some point I think I'm going to definitely sort of dip my foot into that pool. And
training at Freestyle Fight Team now, is there any, they've got like Volkanovski, one of the best fighters in the world. You're the Eternal MMA featherweight champion. In any other gym, you're the man. But you're just another guy saying that with Freestyle being such a great gym with such great fighters. Do you like that? Like, what, or do they focus their attention on you when it's your turn to fight? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so the dynamic is, like, obviously there's a pecking order like a natural sort of pecking order when you're in the gym. Obviously, if Volk's in camp, we know we're all going to rally around him.
Which he is.
Yeah, which he is now. So, everyone's going to try and rally around, and we're all going to sort of, do what we can to help. But at the same sense, everyone in the gym, Volk, Colby, everyone, like all my training partners, they're there helping me prepare the same way. Like, Volk, to sort of put it into context, I guess, Volk was in Puerto Rico filming. He flew 24 hours each way, did like over 40 hours of traveling to be there for 2 days. Got off the plane on the Friday morning, came straight to the gym to help me with my last spider. So
really,
that's sort of the type of vibe that we have at the gym. But 100%, like whoever's next up next up ready to go, whoever's turn it is when it's like their last spider, their last meat grinder, sort of coming into fight week, those last sort of sessions and stuff like that. The focus is sort of on that person, but at the same time, everyone's still doing that for each other. So it's like, I think that's why our gym has that dynamic for success, because it's like everyone's just putting it on the line for everyone else.
And I'll go into your teammates a little bit later on, but I've also heard, so your spider sessions are basically like you're doing pad rounds and then in the break conditioning, correct? And what's a meat grinder? I've heard this a bit.
Yeah, so our meat grinders and spiders are just like 2 sessions that are designed where you're being put in such uncomfortable sort of positions where you're losing, you're dealing with people who are fresh, it sort of simulates the worst case scenario to the point where you're just redlining your body to a point where and then still trying to focus on having the good techniques, doing the right things, staying present, finding a way to push on. It's just like, it's a big mental battle. It's physically demanding, but at the same time, you're being put into sort of, I guess, elevated states that you wouldn't even experience in a fight. Like the way I always sort of say to people, if I am in a fight with someone and I feel like I feel during one of those sessions, my opponent's dead. They're on the ground. I don't think they're moving. So it gives you that confidence to know that you're never going to lose a fight based on conditioning, which is, something I'm really always have in the back of my mind. Like, I don't ever want to go into a fight. The fight plays out how it plays out, and then I come out of it going, it's just because I didn't work hard enough.
Do you worry about injuries at all? Because I guess you've had to pull out before Colby Thicknesse injuries. A lot of injuries come out of this style of training. Do you guys take that on board and try to make adjustments, or is it just you got to make it through?
Yeah, obviously, injuries are going to be part of the sport. For the most part, I've been fortunate, obviously, up until, recently with sort of when I broke my foot, but we got such a professional team around us. We're sort of adjusting constantly and taking it on board. But there's still going to be times where freak accidents happen. Colby's a great example of that. Like, it's just something that is so like simple or crazy that you've done a million times before. Then all of a sudden it's like, you're out of the fight and you can't fight. So, and it's the same for me. Like, it was something so simple and all of a sudden my foot's broken in half and I can't fight. So, but we just adjust, keep working with everyone that we have around us. That's probably the best part of our freestyle too, is like we're so surrounded by some of the most intelligent human beings that you could have. And
this fight camp, any niggling injuries going in?
Nah, we're Gucci, which is surprising, because like normally you have something and something's bugging you, but we're good.
Zero excuses.
Zero excuses.
And speaking of your teammates, I just want to go back to obviously Colby Thicknesse. Hex a couple of weeks ago, his opponent Emrehan Hekimoglu, it started just a bit of a ruckus. He was obviously calling Colby Thicknesse. I talked to Colby about it. At least I got to see the light side of that as well. But obviously he wants that as his next fight. But the main story that came out of that was you causing a bit of a ruckus with Tapology. There might have been a hidden fight where Hekimoglu going in was 2-0, then became 3-0. You were like, hang on a second, there's a video of you getting knocked out. It's now officially been changed to 3-1. Are you this relentless with everything you want done?
Look, if there's an opportunity for me to call someone out on some shit, I'm going to take it. But I told him, like, when he was doing his antics and stuff like that, I was like, stay humble, stay good, because I had that in my back pocket, but he wanted to carry on. And, Colby's my friend. And, even though everyone got, Joe, Colby, all of us, we kind of saw the joke behind it. And we could, you can have a laugh. But at the same time, it's like, nah, fuck that guy. I want to, now I'm just going to mess with you. And it's just going to, and now I know that that's hanging over you, and that's something that you're going to think about, and I can get under your skin. So if he tries, when they rebook the fight, which they inevitably will, if he tries to like carry on or, you know, do any sort of more things like that, we know that he's just doing that for himself, and he's just going to break when he gets in there. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win. It's a 10-8 to me. I'd say it's a 10-8 to me.
Might even be a knockout. I like it. I really do like it. And I talked to him about it. I'm enjoying not stirring the pot, but there's like a small fire over there, and I'm pointing everyone's attention to it. I'm not starting the fire. I'm just going, hey guys, look over there. There's a thing of brewing. But going back to the most important thing, which is HBF Stadium, June 10th, defending your Eternal MMA featherweight belt. How is this fight against Rod Costa going to go?
Look, it's certainly going to be different to the last time we fought, and I think, you know, I saw him saying that he doesn't think that we've evolved that much or we've changed that much, but, you know, I think that's pretty silly to sort of think that. I think I've evolved immensely, and I think he has too. That's the reason he won the Bantamweight title. That's the reason he went on, you know, on the run that he's gone on, and sort of adjusted from the adversity experience, like you said, with the fight against Jack. But yeah, I feel like, you know, this fight's going to be a sort of. Last time we came out, we kickboxed a bit. I made a mistake. I got clipped, and he put me away. This time, I think we're going to have an MMA fight, and I'm the more experienced MMA fighter. I'm the more well-rounded MMA fighter. So I think at some point I'm going to find an avenue. At some point I'm going to make him uncomfortable, and at some point I'm going to find a finish, because I don't plan to go to the judges in this dude's hometown.
Do we have a prediction?
I'd love a submission, just because he is such a credited jiu-jitsu guy, and he said that people in MMA can get submitted by anyone, but then he goes, he doesn't really believe that is bullshit. We're going to see. If he gives me his neck, I'm going to choke him unconscious. He's going to be looking up at the stars going, what happened? What happened, Ben? What happened? And then Felipe Pena might as well just give me that black belt. So we'll see. We'll see. But nah, all jokes aside, you know, I'm going to be ready for anything. I'm not going in there with like a set plan to be like, this is how I want to finish the fight, because you can't have a one-track mind in a fight like this. He's too good. I'm too good. We're the best guys in the country for a reason. So, yeah, I'm excited. He's a competitor. I like the guy. Obviously, you know, he and I are pretty similar in a lot of ways. We don't shy away from fights like these people that you see in the region and sort of sit on their records for years and try and wait for stuff to happen. We go out there and fight and try and take it. Yes, I'm talking about Conor. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I was going to leave it. It's the eternal weekend.
Look, same as Rod. I'm done with this dude. I'm sick of hearing about him. But I will say, he did say something I thought was very interesting. He said, I've been around longer than these guys. I've been doing it longer than these guys. And we both got Australian titles before you. And you fought for a world title that was 3 rounds against a guy that didn't want to be there. And you looked gassed coming out for the 3rd round. I fought more times than that dude's fought in 6 years. I fought between 2021 and 2022. Because that's what I do. I fight. That's my job. I don't talk. I fight. Same as Rod. He fights. That's why we're going to main event. That's why we're going to put on a show. That's why this is such a historic fight for Australian MMA, and that's why we're the best guys in the country.
The pot, it stares itself. Now, mate, this is probably the final thing you say before we see you in the cage, June 10th, HBF Stadium, Eternal MMA, defending your featherweight belt. Is there anything left that you want to say?
Yeah, just tune in, watch me put on the performance of a lifetime, and yeah, I'm just excited to go out there, perform, do what I do, get the win, and see my daughter afterwards and celebrate another victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Van Heerden, the Eternal MMA featherweight champ. If you want tickets, Ticketek or eternalmma.com. Thanks, brother.
Easy.